Hello everyone, my name's Byron and I'm an alcoholic. Thank you for everyone for attending. Grateful to be here and grateful to be here clean and sober. That's if I couldn't go a day, I've been clean and sober. So yeah, in the beginning of this week I was getting a mess about the share because I was going to plan on, I was going to share, and then my head just started going everywhere, and then spoke to my sponsor and he said, don't plan. So I was like, no, fuck it. It is what it is. What will be, will be. And it helps. It didn't take it all away, but it helps, That's acceptance for me. Just effort. It just brings like serenity and calm back into my life. But yeah, I'm here to share my experience, strength and hope. My experiences, what it was like, and what happened, which brought me to this program, which has given me strength, and what it's like now, which is a hope. I don't remember too much of my childhood, my memory is still a bit bad. And I speak to my sponsor about it, he's like, "Don't worry, it just gets worse with age." And I was like, "What the fuck?" But anyways, but what I do remember from when I was growing up, life was good. Life was really good, I had an amazing family, Christian-based family, brought up on the beach, brought up in the ocean. My parents done everything for me and my brother. And the earliest thing like behavior-wise, the earliest thing I remember is like when I was 10 years old, my brother was 6. He got diagnosed with ADHD, and all the attention went to him. That was hard for me because I wanted all the attention on me. So I had to work around it, and I found that in sports. I like sports at the time. I love sports and became good at it. So some of the attention came back to me, and I thrived off the attention. I really did. I went to a Christian primary school, and on Fridays they used to call me to the office. The pastor used to pray for me and please may repent him of his sins he's done wrong, and then they could paddle me with this cricket bat, and I'd cry, and afterwards he'd be like, please God remove the pain. I'm like, you just hit me. But yeah, that's when the resentment towards that religion started. Then I went to high school. I went to an all boys school. I was good in sports, so that's how I got the attention, and also be able to make friends, fit it in. And I said, I thrived with it. And I remember playing the A team. I got all the affirmation that I wanted. In grade 9, I was the first person at school to make a first team, and I let the whole school know about it. And also I was still fearful of people, but I remember grade 9, when they say if you had your first drink and that fear went away, it did for me. Just like most people share about, I felt like I fit it in, and from the start I drank hard, from the start. There was no half measures when it came to my drinking. I enjoyed it. And it was good times at first. It was really good times. I had a good bunch of friends, or people I thought my friends, and then they were just my drinking buddies. And I came to grade 10, and towards the end of grade 10, life was still pretty good. I got diagnosed with my skin disease. That's when my life really started getting bad, because there's no known cause for my skin disease, there's no known cure, and I got bumps all over my face, and I felt like a leper, and those people that I thought my friends, they started bullying me and teasing me, and they did call me a leper, and that's, I guess, that put me in a really bad place. I didn't want to go out, I didn't want to see people. I started missing school, and I knew that alcohol would would make me feel better, so I started drinking, and also took drugs for the first time in grade 10, and that just took away all that pain, and which helped me. That was my coping mechanism. So yeah, and when I got my skin disease, I had to give up everything I loved. I couldn't play sports anymore because I was in too much pain, which killed me. I couldn't do anything I loved. But like I said, I found the love in drugs and alcohol, and that's where I put all my attention towards. And I had to have it at all costs. I started stealing. That's when I started stealing. So I didn't have money at the time, and I needed it. So I stole from my parents. Started stealing money out their wallets, and actually I stole from a young age. I stole from grade 7 because just for footlongs. Like I wanted to get my footlong at school, so I started stealing then. And so when it came to grade 10, I knew how I could get money, and that was stealing back to my factory setting. And I made it through school. I just came home from school every day. Just sat in my room. And I hated life. I hated every second of it. I cried myself to sleep most nights in grade 11 and 12. And then after school, I could like fresh start, could go my own way, make a new bunch of people who don't know me. My skin had cleared up on my face a little bit because I went for treatment and stuff. And I was on meds as well, a lot of meds, because meds also could numb the pain. And I'd also, to get the meds, I had to manipulate doctors because not just skin meds, I needed other meds. And I remember going around Toti. I went to every single doctor in Toti until I found this nice, kind, loving little lady who I could manipulate. And that's what I've done as an alcoholic. I manipulated her to get what I want. And I guess, I went into uni. For the first 2 years I was failing a lot because half the time I wasn't there, and half the time that I was there was hard. I'm doing accounting and economics. Hard, it just doesn't really help, but I didn't stop. And then I had to change my course, which I changed it to something I really liked. So I managed to actually apply myself. And at the same time, I got in a relationship with a girl who I thought was going to make everything better. Which she did at first, But then she got in the way of my drinking and me using, so I'd often just go out with my friends, tell them at home. Then the next day she'll see photos of me on Facebook at place like, and then that just started ruining everything. But yeah, I guess one of the big moments in my life as well was like I was coming to the end of university, and me and my girlfriend at the time were dating for 2 years, and life wasn't too bad as then. I was playing rugby, because when I got my skin disease, I became really resentful at the people, at human beings, because people were nasty to me and stuff like that. And the anger came with the resentment. And when I was playing rugby now, I could take it out on people. And I was also going out and fighting a lot. That was just my way of releasing my anger. But anyways, when I came to the university, it was like me and my girlfriend at the time, we were dating for it was almost 2 years, and we went to Splashy Fen together. It wasn't really a good relationship by then, but like on the last night of Splashy, we went back to the tent, and she passed out because she was drunk, and I was pretty messed up. I was drunk and I was high, and I had sex with her while she was passed out without her consent. And I still don't know what that is, and I knew what that was at the time. And she woke up in the morning and she knew exactly what happened. and she didn't actually even say much to me, you know. She was just looking like, what the hell did you do? Can't believe you. When we got back from that splash, she never spoke to me again. She hated me, but I don't blame her for hating me. I hated myself for doing that, you know. There was so much guilt and shame. I couldn't believe what I'd done. And I didn't know how to, the only way I knew how to deal with the guilt and shame was by using, by numbing the pain. Like I'd known what to do all this time in the past. And then when that happened, I guess I was like, you know, that's it, you know, this place, everyone's a problem here. I couldn't see past myself. Like I knew I done wrong, but I never was a problem. So when I finished uni, I packed up my stuff and I went to London. I stayed in London for a year. Things started off good in London, and then after a while, you know, started drinking and using, and then everything went pear-shaped. I was working, but by the 10th of the month, I had no money. Then I was phoning my parents saying, listen, I need money for food and groceries, and I was lying. It was just for alcohol and drugs. And I wasn't paying rent, and everything became really bad, so I had to leave. And all of a sudden, I was like, you know, London's a problem. To come back here. And then when I got back, I remember getting back to South Africa, you know, and whilst I was in London, my parents had fostered a girl, and I came back there and I met her for the first time, and she was 17 at the time and I was 24, and she was a really nice person, and I was like, you know, yes, she can fix me, she can fix us all. So yeah, I got in a relationship with her. I went against everyone and everything. It destroyed my family. I got judged by everyone, by my friends, but I didn't care because I just saw her as like, she's going to fix me. And we moved out. I took away from the family. My family didn't speak to me, but like, it didn't bother me because like she was the solution. And you know, we dated. At the same time, I also started a commercial diving course and I started working in the harbour. I was making good money, and for me, when I made good money, that's when more problems arose. We went to our own place, and and then for a while it worked, relationship, the solution, but then it stopped, and then got back on the alcohol and drug train. And I remember like telling you, I was working throughout the night. I'd go stay at my friends' houses, go out, and I never ever treated her treated her well, because I didn't care. I just cared about my drugs and my alcohol and myself, and that's selfishness to talk about. And then after like we were just about dating as well for like 4 years, and you know, she went out the one night and she didn't come home late, and I went out to go look for her, and I caught her cheating on me. And like when I got in a relationship with her, I was like, you know, I'm never ever going to cheat on her, because I just took her from my family. It's like my foster sister. Like, yeah, see, like I have to give this my all now. And then I caught her cheating on me, and it broke me. And then the truth came out that she was sleeping with half my friends at the time, and that broke me even more. And at the same time, I'd lost one of my best friends at work, diving together. We went down together, you know, and I came up and he didn't. And they pulled me up onto the quayside on the side of the harbour wall, and I was high at the time. I was in so much shock, I couldn't go down and help look for him. And I felt a lot of guilt and shame around that, because I could have been there for him, but I wasn't. And I was resentful towards the company because they didn't have like health and safety measures in place at the time. So I became really resentful. Like, resentment was my number one offender. That is the complete truth. And when that happened, I guess, I lost the plot. I went to a really bad place. The company I was working for at the time, the diving company, they saw that, and then they gave me some money, and they're like, go on a holiday. So I did. I went straight to my dealer, stocked up, and I went to my grandparents' place, which is up the road here, retirement village. And I was there for a week, and I just thought everything would be okay, but it didn't. Because I kept all that shame and guilt, I kept all that resentment. It wasn't dealing with it, I was just numbing it. When it came back worse. And then after a week I went back home, and it was like it didn't work, I needed to go find myself. And then I went on a road trip to Sodwana. And once again, I stopped in my dealer and off I went, and I spent 10 days in Sodwana, or 8 days, but I was away for 10 days. I spent 8 days in Sodwana in my tent. Sniff a line, tell myself, "Ooh, things are good, yay!" And then 10 minutes later, "Ooh, why'd you leave me?" Like in tears and stuff. It was madness. And I came back, and then nothing had changed. So then I told my parents, "Okay, look, I've got to do something about it." And then I heard about this place, psych ward, that it can give you meds, and you just go there and chill. And it's like that's the place for me. That's when my psych ward journey started. I used to go to psych ward. I went to the same psych ward 2 times in one year, and I loved it there because I could go there. I used to go on Google and read what drugs done what, and what the symptoms were. Then I'd go to my psychiatrist and be like, "I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling like that." And the psychiatrist would be like, "Yeah, you need this." And I was like, "Yeah, I do need that." And at the same time, in the psych ward, I was still using. It was madness. And then after the year when nothing was working, and I was like, this South Africa's still the problem. Let me get out of here. I went to Vietnam. And I stayed in Vietnam for a year, and the same thing happened. They wanted me in London. I got there for 2 weeks. I wasn't going to use, I was just going to drink, and then I started using again. And that was, that didn't last too long there. Like, I didn't last too long there. Also the same thing, running out of money, phoning my parents, asking for money to give me some food, pay for my rent. I wasn't paying rent, I wasn't getting food. I was just buying alcohol and drugs. We were in the house when I moved there, a whole bunch of youngsters. I introduced them to smoking and stuff, and then I destroyed them all as well. It was their own choice, but I got them all into what I was doing, drag people in. That's what I've done best, so I didn't feel bad. And I remember, first time I kind of knew I really had a problem was when I was in Vietnam. I went to this coastal city by myself, and this guy came to me and he was like, "No, I'm selling cocaine." And I was like, "I haven't had cocaine for a few months. I deserve to spoil myself." And he gave it to me and it was yellow, and I knew it wasn't cocaine, and I knew they sold heroin at the time. And I remember, I sniffed a line, and it was like, it did not taste like cocaine. It made me feel very weird. But what did I do? I sniffed it all. I didn't throw it away. I was like, I bought these drugs, I'm going to use them. They make me feel a bit different. And then after that night, I sat in my room for 3 days, I was full of dying, by myself in this shitty little city, in a room. And that's when I kind of knew, there's something definitely wrong here. Like, why did I do that to myself? But then I carried on with my merry ways, and I had to leave Vietnam and come back here. And when I came back here, I had to move back in with my parents. And when I moved back in with my parents, that's when shit got really out of control. Because COVID had just started. My dad was drinking full on. My dad's an alcoholic, and I don't know, I actually stopped drinking 14 months before coming to treatment. Didn't completely stop, but I stopped getting drunk. I'd have one or two every now and then, but I told myself I'm not getting drunk because I didn't want. When I looked at my dad, I was like, this looks alcoholic. I don't want to be like him. But he passes out he passes out on the couch every night. You know, I'm going to use drugs and stay up all night because I'm different. I'm better than him. But yeah, it was just madness. It was complete madness. And yeah, lockdown has started. There's no work. So I went back to my old defense mechanism of stealing. And yeah, I was so caught up because I carried that built-in shame and those resentments with me throughout my whole life. I didn't know how to deal with them, and yeah, alcohol and drugs were always my solution. And I needed that solution at all costs. And I'd do anything to get it. I started abusing my parents. My dad was passed out on the couch at night times. I used to go and fight with him, punch him whilst he was busy dorsing. And I mentally abused my mom. My mom has dementia, and I chided her for forgetting things. Then I'd use it against her. I'd steal from her, and she'd come ask me, and I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Which was really not a nice thing to do. And at the same time, I only had one friend, like a friend that I've known from grade 2, my best friend who stayed with me through my whole life. And then we had enabled each other. I'd steal for myself and him. He'd steal for me and him, and it was crazy. It was crazy. I used to go to work with him. He still had a job, and I used to dress up in his spare work clothes and go to him to jobs and stuff and just help him out. Just because I knew I was getting drugs. I didn't want to go out and find my own job. Like it was. I don't know what I was thinking. But yeah, then. I carried on doing that stuff. You know. I was lying to my parents as well a lot, all the time, you know, as alcoholics do. And then I remember also one thing that happened is during the this is probably the thing that I feel most guilt and shame about in my life is we had a domestic worker, and she was pregnant, and she took off leave to give birth, and one of her friends came and helped out, took a position at my parents' place, and I saw she was vulnerable, so I took advantage of that. I got in a relationship with her, and I didn't tell anyone about it, and it was obviously the stigma that came with it, you know, and it was weird because I told everyone that I was racist because I was racist. Because what happened when I was younger is my family got holed up in a house in our driveway, and brother had a shotgun in his mouth, and I'll never forget that night. And my dad attacked me to the ground because he froze, and they told us to get to the ground. They stole everything, both cars. My parents had just come back from the airport and just took the luggage, and that was just one of the cases. The second time was my family got holed up in our house. They came through in our house. We all got tied up in the lounge, and they cleaned up the house, you know. And it was like black people were the problem. So I was racist. That was another resentment I had coming to this program. But anyways, I got in this relationship with this girl, and you know, and I didn't tell anyone about it because I had a lot of guilt and shame about it. And then my parents' original domestic worker came back, and she left, and I told her not to ever speak to me again, don't get in contact with me, don't tell anyone about it. But I knew what I did. I knew exactly what I did. And it wasn't right for me. But yeah, I had to deal with that. And like I've been saying, I dealt with alcohol and drugs. I couldn't go a day without using. Because towards the end it was just drugs. Wake up in the morning, steal, go to the pawn shop, sell it straight to my dealer, come back, use, and then whilst I'm using, think of what next I could steal. And I also, I was angry from the resentments, and anger became my main manipulation tool. I'd walk around the house, huffing and puffing, acting angry, and my parents would come give me what I want. And I caught on to that, and I used it. And then after a while, my parents just started giving me money. They're like, please stop stealing from us, we'll give you money. So they gave me money. But then they gave me money and I stole, because I just wanted more. And that carried on for a year, and then my parents went to Cape Town. They went for a 2-week holiday, and they were very sketched to leave me at home for 2 weeks. Because of what I was doing to them and stuff, but they weren't anyway. Then they gave me a whole lot of money, and after the first week I blew their money, and I had to think to something. I had to steal something now, but I can't steal something from around the house, and so I went to their safe, and I was like, I've never gone in here before. If I take something here, maybe they will come around and look in the house and see nothing's gone, so they won't look here. So it took me 2 days, and I figured out the safe code. The safe code was my name, which was madness. But it took me 2 days to figure that out. It's insanity. And then I opened it up and I saw this gold bracelet, and I was like, yeah, that looks nice. That's going to give me a lot of money. I wonder what it is. But that thought lasted for like a second, then all of a sudden I was like, I'm going to get money for that for drugs. Took it, went to the second-hand shop and sold it, got some good money, and for a brief second I was like, I got a lot of money for this. This must be worth something valuable. Then the next second that thought was gone, off to the dealer, and my parents came back after those 2 weeks holiday, and they saw everything in the house, so they didn't look in the safe. And at that time, my brother and his wife, they were expecting a child, and they actually made me the godfather of their child, which I don't know why they did it at that time, because I wasn't really nice. I was very spiteful to my brother because I was jealous of him because he had everything in order, and when the child was born, my parents went to the safe, and then my dad came to me, and promotion happened, and my dad came to me and was like, Byron, the gold bracelet that was in the safe, where is it? And I was like, I don't know where it is, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, what does it mean? And it was our family emblem. My gran, who was like the nicest lady ever, she gave it to my dad on her deathbed and said, give it to your firstborn grandson. And that was meant to go to my goddaughter, my brother's daughter. And it wasn't there. And I'll never forget that day, ever. Because they got me involved to help look for it, and there's a saying that says, an alcoholic will steal something and deny that you stole it, an addict will steal it and help you look for it. And that I did. I called a search party. I got my whole family to come to my parents' place and look for this thing, and I knew where it was. So after 2 days of looking for it, that guilt and shame, it all just caught up to me. The drugs stopped working. Didn't numb that pain anymore. I didn't want to live. I really didn't. I told my parents hundreds of times that I was going to kill myself, because just to making me things. But it was at that moment, and I didn't want to tell them I wanted to kill myself. I actually wanted to kill myself. That's when I knew there was a big problem, and I needed help. So I reached out to them. I said, please, guys, send me for help. So they told me, okay, you're going to go help for help tomorrow. Then I was like, I think it was a Thursday, and it was my dad's birthday on the Saturday. And I told them, no, I want to be off for my dad's birthday on Saturday. Spend some time with my goddaughter, just been born. Send me on Monday. So they said, okay. So I went on a final bender. I didn't spend 1 second with my goddaughter, and I didn't even go to my dad's birthday. And yeah, the Monday came, and the guy came to pick him up at the house on the hill, came to take me to treatment. And whilst I was leaving, my whole family was there. And when I was driving out to treatment, they were driving out to the Kruger Park on holiday. And I was so resentful at them. I was like, these folks are going on holiday, look at me going to treatment. And I remember them all just like blowing kisses at me, showing me hearts and I remember driving out the driveway, just showing them the finger. Just like, screw you folks. And off I went. And I remember like going to treatment, like my parents told me, it's a place in Scotland, you're going to have your phone there, you're going to chill, do what you want, it'd be a good getaway. And I remember taking the Scotland off ramp. And like, I've been brought up on the South Coast, I know the South Coast. I'm taking the Scotland off ramp, and then like the indicator, after took the off ramp, the indicator went right, and I was like, hold up, the Scotland's left. And then it was like, maybe there's a problem with the car. And then the steering wheel started going that way, and I was like, no fucking way, there's definitely something wrong here. And then we went right. And I was like, the retreat on the beach that I'm meant to be going to that way, and I'm going this way. But yeah, that journey took me exactly to where I needed to go. Up to the house on the hill. The place that changed my life. I'll never ever forget driving up the drive the first day, and there's so much guilt and shame for the things that I've done. So much anger because of resentment, so much self-pity because of my skin disease. And yeah, that was how I arrived at treatment. I don't want to speak to anyone when I arrived at treatment. I hated everyone, I hated the world. I was resentful towards black people, I was resentful towards women because of my ex. I was resentful towards my parents. I was resentful to everyone. So I just sat there for the first 2 weeks, and I was like, how I got to treatment is like the first God moment. It's like 4 months before I went to treatment, my best friend throughout my life came and stayed with me, and he got kicked out of his house, and he came to stay with my parents, and he was also in a mess. So I was like, this bloke's going to get me into trouble. Let me kick him out the house. So I did. I kicked him out of the house, went straight to his mom, pulled out her work, the salon, and was like, listen, your son's got a big problem, he needs help now. So she went and fetched him and took him up to treatment. And when I reached out to help, it's weird because my mom phoned his mom and told me about this place, House on the Hill, and that's how I ended up there. And yeah, when I got to treatment at first, I didn't want anything to do with anyone. I had major trust issues. I didn't trust myself, like I always say, and I needed a new way to live. I couldn't live like that, And thank God I got introduced to this program. But yeah, second God moment was being introduced to this man on the right here. Because I didn't trust this program. I didn't trust anyone. But what I learned is, when I said it to my sponsor, I don't trust me. Why don't you start by trusting me? Because I'm here to help you. And my first thought was like, I'm paying money to be here. You better help me. That's where my thinking went. But after a while, I started opening up to me. I didn't open up at first. I opened up to me and I was like, let me just try to open up back. And I did. I opened up back, and that's when the trust started. And it was a cool feeling because I didn't experience it in a very long time. And I know this was like an honest, open-minded and willing program. I guess when I came in there to the program, I was desperate to get better. Like the gift of desperation was a gift of willingness for me. I didn't know how to be honest, so sponsor just said, just be honest with the step work and open-minded. The first thing I had to be open-minded was trust. And when I started opening up to my sponsor and opening up to me, I could feel the trust, so that's when I was like, maybe I should open up to this program. And when I done that, it started opening up to me. So I'll never forget. And I had a huge resentment towards religion as well. And when I heard this was a spiritual program, I went to one of my fellows who's in the room with me today, and I was like, what's the difference between a religious program? What's the difference between religion and spirituality? And it's like, religion is for people who are scared to go to hell, and spirituality is for people who have already been there. And then I was like, thought to myself, that was my first spiritual awakening. I was like, I really felt like I was in hell when I did this program. I feel like I was in hell at the moment. And how to get out of that hell was with this program. And this program became a higher power then, because when I got told I needed a higher power, I didn't want one because the first was religion, but after hearing the spirituality, I was like, okay, I can choose my own one, and I made this program because I wanted proof in a higher power. And I got in this program. There's elders at the treatment center, counselors, they were keen, it worked for them. There's 42 stories in the back of this book that is proof that it works. So I was like, yes, okay, this shit works. Let me apply it. With my higher power, and it did. Power greater than myself, because I was my higher power the whole time. And it didn't ever work. I was at work and made Facebook statuses when I was like 18, like, I got this. And then 10 years later, people were looking at that Facebook status saying, anytime now, Byron, anytime now. But making this program higher power, I try to apply myself to it, and it's just started helping me. I think I worked my step one before I even arrived to treatment. I knew I was powerless. I knew my life becoming manageable, and then step two was making this program my power, and handing my wall over for me was the second step was probably the hardest, but the third step was the easiest. Because I knew exactly what I'd done with my wall, and I didn't want it. So I didn't know what God's will was for me, but now it's just ask, listen, do as I'm told. I think I'm very good at listening to suggestions and following through. I think I've followed every single suggestion that my sponsor's given me. Some have been hard. Remember, I organized my brother's pool's party for his wedding, and 2 days before, the sponsor said, by the way, you're not going. And I was like, what? I'll have to be there. But then he explained to me that my whole life was like a bachelor party, which it was. And I didn't want to let my brother down and his friends down, but I didn't have anything to prove for them, And I just phoned my brother and I was like, listen, I won't be able to attend, it won't be good for my recovery. And he's like, that's the best thing I've ever heard you say. He was proud of me. So yeah, that's just it, just following suggestions. This is God's will. But I struggle to ask sometimes because I get very self-reliant. Asking is like an ego, deflation. But I have to ask, I have to. I come to that point of pain, then I surrender, then I ask. But yeah, and obviously dealing with my resentments was the big change, was what really helped me. Like I said, resentment was my number one offender. And my favorite line in the big book is on page 66, starts with the third paragraph. If you want to live, you have to be free of anger. And that was exactly it for me. Like when I was angry, I pushed everyone away from me. I was scared. My family were scared to be around me, and they were scared to be not around me. But when they were around me, I was angry and I was violent. And when they weren't around me, I was stealing all their shit. And my family didn't really want anything to do with me towards the end. I I remember after my last story, got my last story feedback, and like everyone gave me my reality, and then my sponsor just told me two things. Like, I was just honest about getting a relationship with my foster sister because I didn't want people to know. That was the first thing. The second thing is like, your parents are fighting for a restraining order against you, and I think that was maybe my rock bottom, because my parents had done everything for me my whole life. They'd given me so much love, and for them to not want anything to do with me, and I knew I fucked up big time. That's when I really wanted to change. And I wanted to stay those extra months in the treatment center. I wanted to go to the halfway. I just wanted to try to do whatever it took because I didn't want to lose my family. Because they did, like, as much harm as I did to them, they did kind of mean the world to me. Because they're always there for me. Treatment was amazing. Obviously, I got taught this program, which changed my life, but like leaving treatment and going to the halfway, I had to apply what I've been taught, and that was like, thank God I went to the halfway. But I think if I went out back to my old town, I would have probably picked up, to be honest with you. So at the halfway house I got to apply this program, and I've made some friends that I always wished I had. I can be genuine around. Don't have to people please, which I did my whole life, which led to resentment. And I got the solution to life. Which is these 12 steps. And not only is like the most amazing thing about these 12 steps is they don't apply to just this disease of addiction or alcoholism. I can apply to my skin disease as well, because there's no cure for my skin disease, and I've accepted myself for who I am, Like I said the other, like we're doing, I still have bumps and scars on my body. I can show you guys, I can take off my shirt now. Like I have all these bumps, all these scars, and I'm not ashamed of it. It's me. That's who I am. The self-acceptance I've got is amazing from this program. That's why I love this program. I try to apply myself to it, do what it says. I've kept it simple the first year, because I really want to see what my sponsor had. And I remember telling him he needed some service and meetings, and I applied myself into service. Like the service positions that I've done has been God-sent, because it's helped me create relationships with people, because I really struggled with that. The first year of recovery, I think I'd done a meeting every day, even when I was in hospital. I went to the hospital twice in my first year of recovery. When I was in hospital, I had fellows come visit me every single day. The second day of the first stint in hospital, I heard this loud English voice, and I was like, "Who the heck's this? Sounds familiar." I went in the room next door, and it was one of our fellows who's 37 years sober, and he was parking there listening to a share with his big book next to him. I'll never ever forget that. That was the most powerful message carried to me in my first year of recovery. He was like, this is what he's doing to stay sober. At his age, being 37 years sober, you'd think you'd put his foot off the gas, but no, there he was. And if that's what I want to reach, that's what I've got to do. And I do this program to make amends. To all the people I hurt. I don't do this program for myself. Not one bit really. Because all of my consequences are shifted to people, and I took advantage of vulnerable people. So for me, sharing and being vulnerable is making amends. Some of those people I'll never ever be able to say sorry to. I can't say sorry to my gran, stealing a shirt. I can't say sorry to some of the people I hurt in the past, But yeah, that's it, making amends is just changing my behavior for this first year of recovery. And you know, it's just brought my parents back into my life, which I'm extremely grateful for. My family, like, they love me, I love them. I can make it about them. My dad's an alcoholic, I'm always there for him. He phones me and he's like, why are you not cheating me? Everyone in the family is cheating me, but you're not. But I'm like, I understand you, bro. You know, I'll always be there for you. Which is weird because me and my dad didn't speak for the last year of active. He hated me, I hated him. It's a mutual hate. But now it's like I can phone him every morning, you know, which is amazing. He sends me nice messages. And yeah, it's just, like, I love this program. I really do. It's like changed my life. And I really like it to change other people's lives. Because when I went through it, I didn't like it at all. I hated every moment of it. I hated myself. Couldn't look at myself in the mirror, you know. Now, I don't love myself as much as 100%, but I love myself much more than what I did before arriving at this program. So yeah, I'm really grateful to be here today, you know. Grateful for this program, grateful for my sponsors, and grateful for you guys. But I guess gratitude is also an attitude. For me, it's just so I'm grateful for this program. I got to do what this program tells me. And if I'm so grateful for my sponsor, I got to do what my sponsor tells me. If I'm so grateful for you guys, you know, I got to make it about you guys. So yeah, you know, I feel extremely grateful to be here today. And you know, I've always saw what I wanted in people, and I've tried to apply that in my life. One of the guys is so kind and compassionate and loving. And I wanted that, you know, and he sadly passed away with us. Today would have been his 5-year milestone. So yeah, you know, dedicate the share to him. So yeah, I love you guys all. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks, Byron.